What's up guys? Please be informed that this channel is no longer eligible for YouTube monetization, and it's only trying to depend on your support for its continued existence. It's been a while since it was demonetized, and lacking financial support, it seems that the channel is nearing its end. As a last resort, the creator decided to call your attention to the fact that the channel does need your help, and that the creator is most likely to disappear when left alone. And this is why Tensura Volume 11 videos have been set on private. Guys, this is not being cruel. She is just trying to preserve the provision of the entertainment in the community. Tensura Volume 11 contains 54 videos and is now made exclusively available to AnimeKouhai patrons. If you'd like to help her out, you may want to join the membership. And as a reward, you'll be able to watch those 54 episodes, from episode 169 to episode 222, and the rest of the latest episodes as well. Feel free to check her out on Patreon. The link is in the description below.
What's up guys, welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you want to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
We both couldn't contain our excitement while observing the almost art-like patterns of the blade. Its beauty was irresistible, it was the best sword I had ever laid eyes on, and it would also continue to evolve. It wasn't that far of an exaggeration to say that I had already acquired a mythical-grade weapon. This unexpected discovery made me very happy. I heard a flurry of panicked footsteps coming my way. The person heading for the front of my office had no intention of stopping and immediately burst through the door without so much as a polite knock. I could tell that it was Milam. Had anyone else been so rude, they would have met Rigurd's iron fists. If it was Veldora or Ramirez, they would have been punished by having their desserts confiscated. But Milam was a special case, so let's not pursue the matter with her. After all,
Rimuru, it's hatching, it's gonna hatch.
It was because Milam had been holding onto an egg this whole time. She had refused to go back to her home country, insisting on staying in our nation. She was worried that something might happen to the egg and felt that it would be safer keeping it near me. Milam looked panicked. Judging by her demeanor, I assumed that the egg was probably hatching soon. Milam's old friend, Gaia, lived in the egg. The avatar core was flickering on and off. It was only a matter of time. Gaia, a new monster, was about to be born. A tiny chibi dragon broke from its shell. Its length was around 50 centimeters. It was hard to believe, given its tiny size, that this used to be the Chaos Dragon.
Are you Gaia?
The young girl and the tiny dragon hugged each other tightly. It was very moving seeing the two reunited. Gaia managed to hatch not long after Milam barged in. With the safety of her friend assured, Milam was now at ease. Yet, when I thought that this meant she was returning home, it turned out not to be the case.
Come on, let's take Gaia out on an adventure.
Milam proposed excitedly. No, I expected her to say something like this. Naturally, my answer was,
I mean, Frey-san must be quite worried about you, right?
Frey-san had become Milam's guardian. If I played with Milam without giving her prior notice, she would undoubtedly get angry. It would be a different story had Gaia not been born, but seeing how energetic and healthy it was, Milam now had to go back and take care of the work she had been putting off.
There's nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about? Rimuru did give Milam some of his wise advice. Yet his advice has been completely ignored. Just kidding. I mean, since Milam suggested it, I guess I don't object. I had been busy dealing with the aftermath of the whole incident with Mariabelle, and I've only recently started to take a break. It wasn't a bad idea to have some fun with my friends after working all this time.
Besides, it's actually a necessity. Dragons are apex predators, and will only eat what they hunt. Even babies are the same, so we need to teach Gaia how to hunt.
Milam smugly added. I heard that dragons don't go hungry very easily, and how they could survive on water and magicules alone. The downside was that they wouldn't grow. If we wanted it to grow bigger and stronger, appropriate workout and hunting monsters as meals were absolutely essential. That was why Milam sought to adventure with Gaia. My initial impression was that she just wanted to run away from Frey's clutches, but it turns out that she had actually thought things through a lot.
Right, then I know the perfect place for that.
Is it the Labyrinth?
That's right.
And so, we initiated our plan to nurture Gaia. Now that the issue was settled, let's gather everyone here as soon as possible. I called Veldora and Ramirez, telling them that we were challenging the Labyrinth once more. This time around, we would bring Gaia along and form a party of 5. Even a newborn like Gaia was safe inside the labyrinth. Compared to bringing him on an adventure in the outside world, full of unknown variables, the labyrinth was unquestionably less risky.
We are actually quite busy right now, but because it's you guys asking for the favor, we will have to give you our full assistance.
You guys can rest assured now that we are here. Have faith that Gaia will grow just fine under our care.
I suddenly felt uneasy. No, it's all right. I gotta have faith in them. Veldora and Ramirez had been maturing, so they should be able to read the atmosphere and act accordingly. Even Milam knew that this was not playtime but educating Gaia. Surely, they wouldn't be selfish and do whatever they wanted.
Well then, let's go.
At my command, everyone possessed their monster avatar. Our adventure had begun. We went to power level Gaia. Me, Veldora, Ramirez and Milam. Besides the 4 of us, there was Gaia, who was capable of flying, following me. Gaia was a dragon. It was originally the Chaos Dragon that possessed the power to destroy the world. It shouldn't be weak at all. And just as I suspected, it was indeed a dignified and very strong creature. It only took a few fights for Gaia to calibrate and get the hang of fighting. Furthermore, it had a wide-ranging dragon breath attack that could take out a whole group of enemies. Chaotic breath, a highly concentrated miasma with a curse that corroded any substance it touched. Its effect was similar to the corrosion of my gluttonous King Beelzebub, and its power was so strong that most monsters couldn't defend against it. In addition, Gaia possessed the Earth Spirit, a power carved in its soul since birth, which enabled it to control gravity. Had the unsealed and freed Chaos Dragon retained intelligence, the mere thought of that possibility terrified me. With abilities like Curse Breath and supergravitational waves being thrown around, the number of casualties would have definitely been much greater. But that was all in the past now. Nowadays, Gaia was Milam's cute pet and our reliable companion. We shouldn't be wary of it. It was then that a blood boar appeared. Blood boars resided in the area near the 30th floor, and was a rank B monster with strong legs. Its head and shoulders were protected by thick bones and muscles, while its skin was harder than steel. With a total body length over 2 meters, it would charge into its enemies with a speed of around 50 kilometers per hour. No one would be able to withstand that type of attack. If you encounter it in a narrow passage, the blood boar was an unavoidable dangerous enemy. Yet, even a dangerous monster like that was no match for our team. Gaia's ability to control gravity meant that the blood boar's charge was unexpectedly dulled. Seizing this opportunity, Milam landed a fatal strike and ended the blood boar's life. The blood boar, feared for its ability to end up drenched with the blood of its enemies, had become a staple in Gaia's diet. With the outcome of today's hunt, I looked forward to Gaia's growth in the future. As you can see, our team cooperated very well with each other. Gaia also had a skill called Gravity Barrier, which was expected to reduce the effects of a physical attack. This, combined with my magic barrier, gave us additional protection against enemies' magical attacks as well. We learned all sorts of coordinated team attacks in the following days, and Gaia quickly became an integral member of our party. After that, we continued gaining actual fighting experience while at the same time, securing food for Gaia. Eventually, we made our way down to the 49th floor. Thus, the level boss of the 50th floor, who was quite the challenge for us last time, was defeated.
Gozer can no longer stand against us.
That's right. Gozer is not that strong after all.
That felt great.
These guys sure were excited. Eh? What do you mean we're having too much fun? Nonsense, all this hard work is for Gaia's sake. I mean, maybe a little. We were more or less enjoying ourselves during the process, but it was for Gaia's benefit as well. With this elegant-sounding reason, we returned to town from the labyrinth.
Looks like you all had a lot of fun.
A smiling Frey-san was waiting for us, with veins visibly popping across her forehead and a spine-chilling atmosphere surrounding her.
Frey, it's not like that. There's a very important reason behind this.
I felt a sudden sense of déjà vu. Why? What happened next was predictable too, as if I had somehow seen it before.
Didn't you promise me that you return once Gaia hatched?
It's not like that. Gaia needed me.
Yes, that's right, but was that enough to break our promise?
But it needed education.
Just like how Gaia requires education, I think you could use some education too.
This battle was settled. Milam couldn't seem to persuade Frey. Regardless of how desperately Milam tried to deny it, Frey was unmoved. I, of course, didn't want to step on the tiger's tail. And to be fair, Frey was being reasonable anyway. In the end, Milam tried to resist like a spoiled child, crying and causing a scene. However, she stood no chance against Frey's unfazed smile, and thus Milam was taken away, defeated. Alright then. It was Milam's fault to begin with, so it couldn't be helped. If she had at least contacted Frey first, then she wouldn't have been so angry, but it was too late now.
I'll be back.
Milam left after saying this, though I didn't think there'd be a third time. Even though she hadn't been given a curfew yet, and I was sure she'd be able to get permission to come visit me regularly, I believed that kind of privilege was in jeopardy at this point. Frey knew that it'd be dangerous if she didn't at least give Milam some time off, and that was why she had been generous with her. However, I didn't know what would happen if Milam kept running away from her responsibilities. But that was someone else's business, which I preferred to stay away from and rather observe. Although it would probably still be best if she could teach Milam about reporting her activities, communicating effectively and having proper discussions. While thinking so, I saw Milam off. I was keeping Gaia by my side for the time being. There was an unlimited number of revival bracelet in the labyrinth for it to use, as well as plenty of food to eat. In addition, we even switched our avatars to automatic mode and let them explore with Gaia together. It was a fantastic way of allowing Gaia to keep on training. It was still too early for Milam to directly coach it. I anticipated that we'd let him grow its strength to a certain extent before handing it to Milam. And so, we had a new companion in the labyrinth. On a side note, eventually, 5 unique monsters found roaming the labyrinth were deemed as special level bosses, and struck fear into people's hearts. There were rumors among the challengers. These bosses appeared to have 2 levels of strength. While they were already terrifying in their normal state, they became extraordinarily powerful in their second state. To put it simply, we were puppeteering what were viewed as uncontrollable, nightmarish fiends. But we only learned that later on. I was afraid of what would happen to me if we secretly played while Milam was absent. That was because once the automatic mode of our avatars were deactivated, their growth would sell us out to Milam. And even if there wasn't much growth, Milam's keen instincts would probably expose us regardless. Therefore, it was best that we avoid such a dangerous act. So, I would like to introduce you to my serious work. Since we would be dealing with the Western nations, we had to outline laws as soon as possible. As the ruling demon lord of Jura Tempest Federation, I held the final say on all matters. While most of my work could be handled by people like Rigurd to some extent, the important decisions had to be reviewed by me personally. I had a great deal of authority. To put it bluntly, I could manipulate the judicial, legislative and executive powers at will. This was because I held the absolute right to control these 3 powers, and so, I held absolute power over the nation. I was even overseeing military command, which could be considered the cornerstone of this nation. I could march our army with a single order. The appointment of any officers had to be approved by me as well. The word federation was purely superficial. In truth, this was no different than a dictatorship run by me. But in reality, I just tossed all my work to other people. Administrative matters were handled entirely by Rigurd, while in terms of the military, Benimaru was acting on my behalf and held full control over it.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.